We have a rather startling story that just came in here. A man who has been tentatively identified as John Lennon, the former Beatle, has been shot on Central Park West outside the Dakota where John Lennon lives. Police rushed him to Roosevelt Hospital. We have no word on his condition right now. The police say they do have a suspect in custody. He is a local man. They won't say much more about him. They say there is no apparent motive. And again, the identification of the victim is tentative at this point, but police are saying they believe it is John Lennon.
An unspeakable tragedy confirmed to us by ABC News in New York City. John Lennon, outside of his apartment building on the west side of New York City, the most famous perhaps of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special bulletin from NBC News. Former Beatle John Lennon is dead. Lennon died in a hospital shortly after being shot outside his New York apartment tonight. A suspect is in custody but has not been identified.
He was shot late this evening in front of his apartment building in New York City. Apparently, he was killed almost immediately. The man who shot John Lennon walked up to the musician as he was leaving his limousine. According to eyewitnesses, he said, "Mr. Lennon," and then fired at him point blank at least 5 times.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Brokaw. This is today, December 9th. I'm here with Jane Pauley, and this entire half hour will be devoted to the murder of John Lennon, ex-Beatle, one of the best-known musicians and most influential people of his time.
From Washington, this is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite.
Good evening. The death of a man who sang and played the guitar overshadows the news from Poland, Iran, and Washington tonight. Former Beatle John Lennon, who was 40, was shot and killed last night outside his luxury apartment in New York. The alleged killer is an unemployed security guard and printer who had lived in Hawaii. News of Lennon's death touched off a wave of shock and mourning around the world.
The pop world and beyond mourn the Beatles' John Lennon murdered in New York. The man who's said to have shot him is a 25-year-old from Hawaii. Police describe him as mentally disturbed. Meanwhile, John Lennon's New York admirers mount a vigil outside his home.
As news of John Lennon's killing spread through New York, fans gathered at the gates to his apartment. The shooting happened just after Lennon and his wife Yoko stepped from a chauffeured car after returning from a recording session. The killer, who 6 hours earlier had obtained Lennon's autograph, shouted his name, then fired 5 shots at close range. Eyewitnesses said the assassin made no attempt to run away and was smiling as police arrested him. Cradled in the arms of his wife Yoko, the former Beatle was rushed to Roosevelt Hospital a few blocks away, where extensive resuscitation efforts failed to revive him.
I saw John and Yoko get out of the limousine. They walked into the gate, and oh God, let me take your time. And then I heard four or five shots. They were ear shattering. I heard Yoko, and I heard a woman screaming. It was Yoko. She was screaming, "Help me!"
Within 2 minutes of the time I got there, they brought out Lennon. He was limp. He had blood coming outside of his mouth. He had his glasses on, and there were maybe 5 or 6 police officers holding him, carrying him, putting him in the back seat of a car. Very quickly, Yoko was with him.
How many times?
He had multiple gunshot wounds in his chest, in his left arm, and in his back.
How many shots are we talking about?
There were 7 wounds in his body.
7 bullets?
I don't know exactly how many bullets there were. There were 7 wounds.
How extensive was the damage, Doctor?
There was a significant injury of the major vessels inside the chest, which caused a massive amount of blood loss, which probably resulted in his death.
Ted, what we know about the suspect at this time is, first of all, his identity, 25-year-old Mark David Chapman. He comes from Hawaii. Police tell me he's been in the New York area about a week and began to hang around the Dakota apartment over the weekend asking about John Lennon. He apparently ran into him for the first time this evening about 5 o'clock, asking Lennon for his autograph. Lennon gave it to him on the jacket cover of a record. Lennon went off to a recording session, and we are told that Chapman remained at the hotel until Mr. Lennon returned about 11 o'clock this evening.
This individual Mr. Chapman came up behind him and called to him, "Mr. Lennon," as he arrived at that doorway. And then in a combat stance, he emptied the Charter Arms .38 caliber gun that he had with him and shot John Lennon.